Welcome to the Fanatical Elfz Show, part of the L Network. We are a bunch of wild and crazy Cleveland Browns fans, bringing you all the latest in Browns news. Tune in now. Hey, and good evening. This is the Fanatical Elfz Show. We are some wild and crazy guests here, hosts of this crazy network that we do all the time. And we got all these shows. And I'm John. This is Steve Gill. And we're just happy to have you along. Thanks for watching us right now on YouTube or on the X or on Facebook. How you doing tonight, Steve?
Doing great. Finally got some rain today. We got a cold front moving in. It was like 90 on Monday, and on Saturday it's going to be like 66 degrees. Our first venture into the upper 40s, lower 40s, upper 30s. I love my kind of weather.
How are your trees changing colors yet?
No, it's been too dry.
Okay, we've had our changing up here a little bit up here in Columbus. But I imagine we've had a lot of rain this evening up here in Columbus and enjoying the wet weather, and it's going to be down in the 40s by tomorrow evening. I'm supposed to be covering our local team here, Licking Heights, where I work at. They have their big rival game against I can't even know the name of the town, but it's Watkins Memorial High School. Pataskala. I should know this. It's Pataskala, which is in Licking Heights, or it's in Licking County. And so Watkins is the big rival of Licking Heights, where I work. So I'm going to be covering the game for Northeast Ohio Sports Insiders, a great group of writers that follows high school, all the major league sports teams up in Cleveland and in Columbus, minus the Cleveland Browns, of course, which I was supposed to be credentialed at, but I did not because the Brownies.
John.
Let it go. Okay, so it's bye week, and
Yay!
I was gonna play the In Sync song on our intro, but I did listen to it on the way home. I'm that kind of guy, you know. I like my In Sync pop music on occasion, but it is bye week, and you know, the team is resting. The team has this Sunday off, but there's still been quite a bit of things going in and around.
I hate it when I looked at the schedule. I hated week 5 bye week. Now I love it.
Yes.
Perfect time for it.
Well, yeah. Tell me why.
Well, this team needs to sit back and take care of a few things. I listened to Andrew Berry's presser. I thought that he gave out a lot more information than people are giving him credit for.
Okay.
I agree with his first 5 problems: turnovers. A team that turns the ball over this many times should be 0-4 by now. Mm-hmm. I have never heard of a team who in every game they lose the turnover ratio and in every game wins the time of possession. How is that possible? Mm-hmm. This is the weirdest Browns football season I've ever seen.
Have you gone back? Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, have you gone back and looked? I haven't done it this week, but just to research, you know, this whole turnover ratio thing. I know the Browns I know the first year in 2020 with Kevin Stefanski, that was one really highlight of the season. And I wondered if you knew, we haven't matched that since that season. And I didn't know if you know the exact stats, but I thought it was, it's worth talking about tonight because I
don't understand all the fumbles. Interceptions are going to happen. I mean, I saw a stat that quarterbacks in the league, interception-worthy throws and actual interceptions. And Watson is down near the bottom of the list. He had 3 interception-worthy throws and only 2 interceptions.
Okay.
So, but the fumbles.
He had 2. Watson had 2 in the Pittsburgh game.
Yeah, I know. This is troublesome. The other thing is troublesome is the offensive line is not playing as well as they should. Now you could say, the tackles. Wills is having a rough season, and DeJuan Jones is a rookie. But first play in the Baltimore game, they get 25 yards on an outside run.
Yes.
And who gets caught for holding? Wyatt Teller.
Was it Wyatt Teller? I thought it was Amari. I thought the wide receiver got called.
Teller. It was he got one later. It was Wyatt Teller. I mean,
okay.
Come on, guys.
Right. Okay.
I mean, it's been an unusual season. Week 1, you had a rain cloud that only sat over the stadium, as you.
I was there.
Week 2, you lose Chubb, the focus of your offense, early in the second quarter, and week 4. Your quarterback can't go right before kickoff. So it's been unusual.
Let me ask you about this. We'll get into the Deshaun Watson talk here in a minute, but let's focus first on DTR in the press conference. And I have a different take on, when I listened to Barry talk in his presser, and he said a lot of things that I want to hit on tonight. And I do agree with you that, I think that he spoke well, and he actually acknowledged during the press conference about how he's wants to do more of a sort of state of the union, state of the Browns, do that a little bit better. And he needs to improve himself in his professional career. So I thought that was a good step. I like that. I guess my first question to you regards to DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson in that game, and I want to focus on Andrew Berry and what he said about a DTR. And I don't have the exact quotes, but what I didn't like coming from Andrew Berry when he mentioned DTR was that he felt like DTR played he described it as a poor or bad game. I mean, he actually kind of said that, as I recall, and some of the blowback to that, but I would like to know, I see, that's where I don't agree with it, because I think you're setting this kid up. If you were planning on running 7 of the first 10 passing plays in a game, even with Deshaun, you already know that Deshaun's coming off a bum shoulder, and we found out later he couldn't go, but then you stick to that. And I don't know. I mean, most of us don't think that they really changed the game plan. I don't know why, you're throwing a kid out there, and I know the kid's a professional. He's made it to the NFL, but I didn't feel like Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Yes, in those moments, I can see where you're coming from, playing poorly, but I have to put more blame going back on the coaching staff, and then Barry kind of saying that he played poorly. I don't know. I just don't like it coming from the GM, considering we don't know exactly what was said amongst all those. I
believe what he said was he played poorly, and he was the first to admit it.
Okay.
So is that really throwing the kid under the bus? No, because the kid actually said, I played poorly. So I'm gonna let that slide. Okay. I mean, if we're gonna hang on every sentence in a 50-minute
I agree.
news conference,
well, you know what,
it's
Steve?
It's going to get ridiculous.
But Steve, I think that's where I come back as a fan, and then you and I both, and we slightly disagree on our perspective here. I can acknowledge that. I think where some of us, like including myself, come from is that later on in the presser, and we can talk about different parts of it, but then he talked about the fans and going through the process, and he said
he said we have a process, and we want the fans to enjoy the process. Right. We want the fans to enjoy
and I'm
the process.
Telling Andrew
in other
Berry,
words, he's acknowledging right now that the process needs to get better. That's what he was saying.
All right. Well,
I didn't disagree with that.
No, I don't agree with that.
Wholeheartedly.
I don't disagree with that. I didn't
see it's the word process. Ever since Eric Mangini said it, when a Browns fans hear it, they get their knives out and start cutting people. So
we've never been there. We've never been to the promised land. We've never, And every year, and the idea, and I know I'm throwing out the big number. Well, I won't even throw the big number out, but Deshaun Watson and his contract and all of that trade, everything that's happened, everything that went with it, draft picks and all alike, that move kind of threw this team, forcing this franchise to win. And the fact is, we've not won over the last 2 years, and we can look at why they didn't win those first 2 seasons.
Well, last year they didn't win because he had an 11-game suspension. The season was over when our beloved commissioner, overrode the 6-game suspension and tacked him with 11. I went right there and went, that's it. Season's over. But it just, and then it just aggravated, I think, a lot of us. And yes, Steve, I understand that perspective that you're saying. I think a lot of fans like myself, when we initially heard Barry saying that, enjoy the process. It's like, hell no, damn it. We want to win. Like, win now. Like, we're not waiting around. We want the fans to enjoy he's acknowledging the process isn't working. No GM is going to say it like, hey, I suck. It's not working. He's not going to say that. He's going to say what he said. Actually, I found a few things that he said very telling, like talking about Grant Delpit. I got a feeling there's a contract extension there. Talking about Okoronkwo and Smith as Thunder and Lightning, there might be contract extensions there. He usually doesn't mention players. When he starts mentioning players, he also acknowledged that Jedrick Wills needs to play better. Well, yes, he does.
At the beginning of that presser, he did point out, like, the defense stepped up, the special teams, but he didn't go very far in talking up the offense. And I guess it's just, we're analyzing every little bit, and I'm the worst of that, more than you are. You're better about not taking every word. But you
That's
just shared that.
I know how to read between the lines.
Yeah. But Steve, you took those statements that you just said about those players, and I feel like that's okay, maybe they get the contract extensions, but that's why I think fans are all over the place right now. Browns fans are, because
I've written like 3 articles about the man, and I've listened to his news conferences.
Yes.
So he seldom mentions players, and when he mentions them in a good way.
Yeah.
More often than not, he gets them a contract extension. You just gotta understand how the man works. Now, as for what you were talking about, the first 7 out of 10 plays were passing plays. I agree. I mean, first of all, the defense came out and forced two 3-and-outs.
Yes.
Okay. Doing their job. Brown's second possession, they get 7 yards on the first play by the run. I'm going, okay. And they were doing what I had written in my article. They were attacking the perimeters. Great. That's what they did against Tennessee and wore out their defense. Then on 2nd and 3, he goes the deep ball. No, Kevin, no, too early. And then in the next one, he tries to throw a quick slant, interception, ball down inside the 10, next play, touchdown Ravens.
It was definitely a pivotal moment. Yeah.
I was like, okay, you got a rookie quarterback. You don't need to go deep ball right then. Save it for the second quarter or the third quarter. That was my only problem. And after that, it pretty much was over. You could call ball game after that.
Yeah, and that, your description, and then, we've all analyzed this, 36 or 37 passes, 18 or 19 runs. They were only down 14-3 for
7-3.
It was 7-3.
Still could have run the ball.
Yeah, they could. It was 7-3 with about 4 or 5 minutes to go in the half. It was that moment where they got 2 touchdowns. It just killed us.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, hey, I want to welcome Elliot. We are live on our Fanatical Elfz show. Elliot, thank you for joining us. Our third amigo has joined the show. I should say Blues Brothers, or
glad to see the spy came in from the cold finally.
Yes, he is
You could call me a football expert. That would be okay.
You are a football expert, hands down.
Using the term loosely, of course.
Elliot, we are talking
football or expert.
Yeah, I'm expert on everything, even though I know nothing about anything.
We're just talking about Andrew Berry's presser, and I wrote a kind of an article that a lot of people don't like for Fans First. And I know, Elliot, you've written a few articles this week for Fans First. That's awesome. So check out our writing on the Fans First Sports website. I think Steve's going to be writing a little bit too, and you can catch our latest there. But we've all written a little bit about Deshaun, and I basically said that I didn't feel like the team was on the same page again. And I've had some fans that just don't like that, think that it's just blogs and we're just posting crap, and that we aren't really writers and we really don't, so be it. But
yeah, well, that's true. So what? The truth is, let the truth be known. We're not really writers, but nevertheless, the Browns are not on the same page. That's a fact. Criticize us all you want, fans, but John speaks the truth.
Amen.
Brother. I mean, there's no two ways about it. Look, either there's only one of two possible conclusions. One is that Coach Stefanski threw Watson under the bus, saying, "Hey, he was medically cleared, but he didn't play. So don't blame me. It's not my fault." Okay, so he, threw Watson under the bus. I have a
fly in front of me.
The other possibility is that maybe Watson is soft. That he should have played. But do we want Watson? What if Watson was hurt? Do we want Watson to go out when he's injured? Didn't we do that with Baker Mayfield? And wasn't that a great idea? Is that what
Baker Mayfield was medically cleared?
He was, and I don't think that was such a smart idea that we want to repeat it. Do we? Is that what we want? We want the quarterback to go out just because he's medically cleared. We want him to go out and injure himself even more and ruin the team for the whole season. I don't think that was such a good idea. So I think probably we should consider the possibility that Watson deserves some slack.
Okay, well, but Elliot, what about this idea?
And he's not soft. I remember a game, Clemson, South Carolina. He hurt his shoulder the day before the game, and it was an important game. He played, fought through the pain. He is not a soft player.
Steve, let me ask you this then. Jason Lloyd, I think, who writes for The Athletic, his article basically reported that Watson, who was telling everybody from your favorite Mary Kay Cabot to his teammates, said that he was planning on playing, and that the players were a little bit pissed, generally speaking. And I can't say that they probably not likely. I feel like that probably
I can counter that.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
I told you before we came on, I heard a great interview with Josh Cribbs on the Cleveland radio station this morning. He has access to the locker room. He told the interviewer who asked him about that, all the players he talked to knew going into Sunday, that Watson wasn't going to play. They all knew it. So I don't know where he got that.
So Jason
he also explained medically cleared and healthy enough to play because he went through it with a knee that had no cartilage in between.
What about the fan base? What about the fans who say to counter what you guys have just said about, okay, let's say he was medically cleared. He has a bye week.
Well, he was cleared.
Okay.
He was cleared.
He was cleared. But what I'm trying to get at is some fans are saying he should have played because he had the bye week, and then he could have rested for 2 weeks.
Here's the thing. Did anybody watch the Cincinnati game with Joe Burrow? Anybody? Anybody? Could he throw a pass because he can't plant his right leg, which is his
he
plant
could throw
leg.
a pass. Was he any good? No.
You got a quarterback who can't throw more than 40 yards. Yeah. So he goes out, he tries to play, he sucks. all the fans go, oh, he's a selfish player. He's only thinking of himself. He's not thinking of the team, i.e. Baker Mayfield. He doesn't play. Oh, he's a selfish player. He's only thinking of himself. He's not thinking of the team. It was a lose-lose situation.
I've got an idea. What we'll do from now on is we're going to have a fan vote to decide whether the quarterback plays or not. Okay, and we're going to evaluate psychologically whether the quarterback is competent enough to make a decision on whether he's healthy enough or not. And we're not going to let the coach decide, not let the player decide, but we're going to let the fans
or the medical
decide.
Staff.
You know, like didn't they have that league that Johnny Manziel played in where the fans get to vote and then the players have to do whatever the fans say?
The field and actually play.
Yeah, we're going to have the vote from now on. No, but the point is, however, that the coach and the quarterback were not on the same page because the coach made the player sound bad, and that was not a good thing. I don't remember Stefanski ever doing that for any player, including Baker Mayfield, who probably would have deserved it.
See, Steve and Elliot, exactly. And see, Steve, that's where I'm like, when he did that the day before Barry's presser, I was feeling the same way that Elliot's expressing Monday, and just thinking, my God, I don't think these two guys, I don't know. And I don't feel good going forward. And I'm to be honest, as a fan, I'm scared out of my mind. I think we're going to run a rerun again. And I know people are going to say, well, you got to give them time. You got to I'm like, I'm tired of giving people time. They need to go out there and they need to win. And they need to, if they can't do that as a collective group, offense, defense, and special teams, then I don't know what we have to look forward to as Browns fans moving forward. I'm worried.
Well, that's a valid criticism. That's very valid. Either Watson is soft or Stefanski is just too uptight and he's really digging himself a hole that he may not be able to climb out of. Stefanski, if Watson, made the right call and the coach is making him look bad, then coach is trying to get himself fired. Nothing good happened by calling out your quarterback, saying, hey, he was cleared, and he said kind of the right things, tried to walk it back a little bit that, well, he was medically cleared, but, he just didn't know that he was going to be able to perform, up to spec. And, he made that decision after trying to throw it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But he made his quarterback look bad. There's no two ways about it. It was not the right thing to say. And, he just should not have said what he said. And nothing good has come of it. And
Steve, you think though that we're making too much?
No, I don't think. I think you're making too much of it.
Okay.
Have you heard Deshaun Watson come out and say, "Hey, it was my decision"? Has he commented?
He's got too much class to do that, and he knows that nothing good would happen to him by complaining about the coach to the press.
I don't think that was Kevin Stefanski's intention. Okay. That's all I think. That's my opinion. I listened to the news conference. I listened to the Zoom conference as well. So I don't think that's what his intention. Could he have used some better words? Sure. Yes. Are the Cleveland media ready to jump on anything he says? Oh my God, with trampolines are they ready to jump on anything he says?
Yes. Yes.
So this team isn't that bad off. There are some quick fixes for this team. First of all, in yards off of RPO, they're like sixth in the league. The trouble is they're in the bottom 5 of running RPOs.
Okay.
They've already proved they can attack defenses by running at the perimeters, more little RPO, more motion, and more importantly, use the tight end. David Njoku has 19 target, 18 catches. That's phenomenal.
That's good.
Elijah Moore, just stick him in the slot. Okay. He is the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL of creating distance.
I read though, Steve, that
he is the number one at it. Just quit with the trick plays.
Yeah.
Put him in the slot. He'll flourish in the slot. That's simple.
Okay, I think I heard some stat. Maybe Steve, you caught
get
this earlier in the week.
more involved in the offense, please, would you?
Oh yes,
Steve, did you hear that comment about Elijah Moore? He was the first player since like 1950 or something that's lost on a run that was more than 20 some yards.
Hey,
just some
Cleveland
crazy
Browns making history.
I just
and by the way,
yeah.
After 4 games, we only have 1 touchdown by a wide receiver.
Really?
That's ridiculous. We should have a touchdown by a wide receiver almost in every quarter.
Well, that that should worry all of us.
That's a terrible stat.
That's very worrisome. Hey, let's
that's
take a
all
quick
perform.
That's all execution. I want to challenge you on one other stat. About RPOs. I want to keep different stats for the after Chubb era compared to the before Chubb era or during Chubb era, because I think a lot of the running stats that the Browns have are still dominated by the stats that Chubb produced, and that doesn't count anymore because there is no Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
And the Browns, since Nick went down, the Browns have not run the football effectively at all, with the exception of Pierre Strong, and we don't know whether that's real or not.
I love to see more Pierre Strong.
I think we have no choice but to see Pierre Strong. And I made this point with Joel the other day that I think we have no choice but to implement the offense that Deshaun Watson wants, which is namely to throw the long ball, to have multiple wide receivers or multiple receivers, I should say. Well, let's include the tight ends in this.
Yeah.
They have to have a downfield passing offense because there is no running offense at the moment unless Pierre Strong turns out to be the real deal. They can't do the run first offense because there is no run first.
Elliot, let me take a quick break and then we'll come back and we'll continue talking about this and and a couple other items. I always like talking about Kevin Stefanski, so I might have another question or two about that. We'll be right back, folks. This is the Fanatical Elfz Network, part of Fans First Sports Network. We'll be right back. We're back. Did you enjoy those commercials?
Wow. I loved them.
Hey, and before we get into this topic, I just want to again thank the fans who have tuned into us. I think I keep telling you, keep texting you guys. Our downloads are just blowing up right now, and we're 60, 70%.
That's because we're Cleveland Brown haters.
That's right. No, but listen, tune into us on Apple.
So there you
follow us.
Who doesn't love Taylor Swift?
Well, we're all,
she's from
Travis
right outside of Nashville, man. She went to
Travis Kelce's from Cleveland. Yeah. So we're, we're right there.
So, Nashville, Cleveland, we got this thing going on.
We just need, okay. All right. So let's go back to our conversation. Simple. I don't know. I'm looking at this because we are on our bye week, so people are kind of hopefully relaxing. I don't know if Deshaun Watson, he traveled, I think, back to Houston or somewhere. Someone said,
"Oh my God, he went home."
Yeah. I guess I feel like we're building up now to this next game. Obviously, everyone is going to be paying attention. The San Francisco 49ers are coming into town. It's another home game. It'll be their third home game on this homestand, which is very good. They won one, got blown out in another one. And now we've got the 49ers coming in. He's probably, like I said, the best team in the league. It's going to be a challenge, potentially the challenge to the defense. And I don't necessarily blame. I mean, the defense, they've been doing outstanding for the Browns. They actually, they kind of ran out of spirit by the end. I think a little bit after
they played the entire third quarter.
Oh, yeah. So
give me a break.
Right. No, I think let's say that the defense plays well. I mean, obviously we're Andrew Berry spoke of the offense and needing to improve. I think he's, he really kind of emphasized that a little bit yesterday in that presser on Wednesday. What are your thoughts going in? What are your thinking could happen in a week when they play the 49ers. I mean, hopefully we win, but how do we go about winning? Steve, what do we do? What do we need to do to get back into that win column?
Well, first of all, the defense is still playing well. They've only given up 787 yards total. The next team is the Cowboys, who've given up 1,036.
Okay.
So the defense is still playing well. I will excuse this little anomaly that was the Baltimore game, where everybody missed a tackle all at the same time. The interesting thing about San Francisco, they play Sunday night in Dallas. Then they got to go back to California. Then they got to travel to Cleveland. Usually West Coast teams don't do that very well. They got to get to the quarterback, Brock Purdy. He is 9-0 in regular season games since he started. That's an incredible stat, but you got to get he is 9-0 in regular season games.
Okay.
Going into the Cowboys game. So you got to get to him. You got to pressure him. You got to get in his head. Just
what
like
about
you
the
do
offense?
with any young quarterback.
What about the offense?
Like I said, it just a little more motion. I agree with Elliott. You soften up, you get the run game going by throwing intermediate to longer passes. It forces the safeties back. Therefore, you can create a little more running lanes. Definitely keep getting Njoku involved in the offense. I mean, he's only missed one pass. He's 18 out of 19. They're going to double Amari Cooper. Who wouldn't? But DBJ more involved, and just stick Elijah Moore in the slot. Let's not do any more trick plays with Elijah Moore. He'd be very effective there. So let's just they'll
They'll
keep that simple.
probably try to integrate.
I also agree with Elliott. I want to see Pierre Strong. The guy is a damn good running back, and let's get Kareem Hunt a little bit more involved as well. So you know it's going to be running back by committee. Let's use that committee to the fullest.
Elliott, I know next week before the game, I'm sure you'll have your diagrams for us to look at for both teams. What are your initial thoughts? Do you think the Browns have a chance against the 49ers in this home game?
Oh, I think they have an excellent chance. We're still really debating whether Deshaun is Deshaun or not, even though it's relatively late in the season. You know, the season's a quarter way in, but I think we have to go all the way in. You know, not tiptoe towards it. Deshaun has to be allowed to do his thing. We're going to have to throw the deep ball the way he wants to, because there is no running game of the type that Stefanski wants to have. The Browns up to this point have been in the top 5 or 10 teams in terms of run to pass ratio. That's totally ridiculous based on the lack of success that they've had without Nick Chubb. They simply cannot do that. They're not having success, with Jerome Ford. I'm sorry to say that. And Kareem Hunt has less than, I think, 3 yards per carry. That's not going to work. You cannot do, 2 and 3 yards on first down and expect to win. So they're going to have 4 and 5 wide receivers, basically a run and shoot type offense, and throw the ball downfield. I just don't see any other way to do this. They're going to have to change their offensive philosophy because there is no Nick Chubb. This cannot be the Nick Chubb offense without Nick Chubb. That's not going to work.
Maybe we'll see a lot more there. I think fans would be open to that. Spread the ball around and go vertical.
I want to see Cedric Tillman. Where's Cedric Tillman? Has he caught a single pass yet?
He's been targeted, I think, once.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Last week
his target
with DTR. That was it.
Yeah.
Week 4. Let's get a more than one pass to Marquise Goodwin.
Yes.
I mean, he's caught one pass for 0 yards.
Yeah, he's been open too.
Yes, he has.
Goodwin has gotten open. Tillman, we think, is a true pro receiver. These guys need to get involved.
Okay.
And,
but I don't have any problem with the wide receivers. I have a problem, like Elliot says, with the scheme and the execution. That's what needs to fix.
Okay, as far as the execution, let's talk again. This is where with Deshaun Watson, and he's coming off his shoulder thing, I'm just scared out of my mind.
Also coming off his best game as a Brown.
So this is what bothers me. This is what
81.
I know, but
rate.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm getting back to. So, maybe this is getting too technical into it. I don't know exactly when did he injure himself in that game. Was it in the middle of the game, beginning of the game?
It was right before Jerome Ford's rushing touchdown,
which would have been
it was a designed run, and he ran
in the third quarter,
and he got the safety. For
I know what play
just popped him.
Was that the third quarter though? Was it in the?
I can't remember.
What difference does it make?
Well, the difference to
me
I
think it was before halftime, because that was the first touchdown by the Browns. I
guess he was playing off of. He was probably playing off of a lot of adrenaline. I guess it's just the idea that then from that point he had the best game of his Browns career, and then now he played. He didn't want to go out there. Fine. I'm just
stiffened up on him. I mean, I don't know how his shoulder feels.
True. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I don't know how.
Let me get my medical book over here.
Well, again, from now on, we're going to take a fan vote and decide how his arm feels and whether he should play or not.
But if we want to do all this new offense, this vertical stuff, and abandon what we were doing with Nick Chubb, I'm great with that. But then I'm concerned because we don't know what the hell we're going to get in week 6 against the 49ers. We don't know if, one, is Deshaun going to play? We're all assuming that he is. It doesn't
matter. It does not matter whether it's Deshaun or whether.
Oh, yes, it does.
No, it doesn't, because there is no Nick Chubb. We can't run Nick Chubb because there is no Nick Chubb.
Okay,
we have to use the wide receivers because we have wide receivers.
No, Elliot, I think you misunderstood me. I think if you were going to say it doesn't make a difference with Deshaun Watson or the another quarterback, is that where, or did I misunderstand?
Yeah,
you?
DTR is going to have to throw the ball downfield also if he starts.
I agree. I just think there's a big difference.
They're going to have to implement that style of offense because they don't have the option. The Stefanski run first offense has to be put to bed. It's not going to work with the.
I'm not disagreeing with that. Now. Right. I'm not disagreeing with you on that point. I guess I'm nervous more. Even so, even let's say if Deshaun doesn't play, I was disappointed. Steve, like you said, he played like crap. He openly admitted it, and then Barry said he played like crap. I just want to see DTR resemble.
It was disappointing.
Yes, and I know the two aren't the same quarterback, and I know they're going to play slightly differently. But my God, if they do go to this other vertical type of offense and throwing it up, I mean DTR's got to perform better, and we're relying on this guy that
I don't think we're going to have to worry about DTR. I think Watson's going to play, so that's.
I think he will too, but I also think that DTR is going to improve, and I don't think that going to a run first offense would help him.
Exactly.
Okay.
I agree with Elliot.
Yeah.
Got to get over this Nick Chubb thing. He ain't walking through that door until next
I agree.
Year.
Sure.
So let's just move on and accommodate the quarterback and the players we have. We got a good wide receiver room. We got good tight ends. We've got a good running back committee that we can use when it's appropriate. But let's start softening up that defense with a nice little passing attack.
All right, let me ask you this final question on the night, and we can debate this short as you want. But I keep coming back to Kevin Stefanski instead of Eddie. He's 2-2, and obviously, if we looked at this schedule at the beginning of the season or before the season started, we were all saying if they were 2-2 going into the bye, that'd be cool. And that's where we're at. If this season falls short and this team ends up at 7-10 or 8-9 again, I mean, it's not winning football. And I know they've been devastated by, we don't have Nick Chubb now, and we're dealing with what we're dealing with Watson. I just don't feel like this fan base is, and I know who cares about the fans, but is Kevin Stefanski safe? I mean, I think he is safe for the season, but you don't even care about that now?
I'll cross that bridge when I get to it.
Okay.
I don't worry about things that are beyond my control, and the rest of the season is beyond my control. Let's just fixate on one game at a time, get healthy, fix a few things. Let's just and take it to San Francisco. It's a golden opportunity. I agree with Elliot. They can be beat one game at a time.
Yes. Yeah. It's just shocking to me, though, how the script just flipped between that game at Tennessee and then the Baltimore game, because I think Joel mentioned on his show a couple times, and we've talked, and you guys, Baltimore hasn't played anybody, and the teams that they've beaten have been a rookie quarterback DTR, a rookie quarterback in the kid from.
So are they really that good?
Right.
I don't believe in Baltimore. I have to be convinced.
I don't either.
Baltimore. But I would say this, that I don't see any reason why the Browns should equate DTR's performance with the team having Deshaun Watson. I think we should still believe in Deshaun Watson until proven otherwise. I'm nervous about Watson. Let's be real. I am concerned about Watson, have been since the day that the trade was announced. But I think we have to, go all in. There is no choice. There is going to be no other quarterback besides Deshaun Watson, because we invested $230 million in him. So let's back him all the way and not question it. There is no point in questioning him at this point. He has to be the starting quarterback. And we have to allow him to succeed the way that he wants to. And namely, that's to throw the ball downfield and not try to replace Nick Chubb with guys that are making 2 and 3 yards per carry, because that method is not going to work. And we've found that out.
Show us how reliant we were on Nick, and we really did experience a time frame with Nick that was really great. Now, the sad part is that we still weren't a winning football team, and that's something that's most disappointing. We did get to the playoffs, and hopefully we can get back to the playoffs this year.
2020 we were with Nick Chubb.
No, right. That's what I said. I said we did make it to the playoffs once with Chubb and back then, but since then we've had poor seasons. I'm hoping Chubb comes back. That would be certainly welcoming to all of us fans. I think, and you said, Steve, at the beginning, I think, Andrew Berry said a lot of things in that Browns address that he hadn't said before. So those are steps maybe in the right direction in his professionalism and what he wants to be more transparent about. But I guess under my thought process, I'm always thinking, and a lot of Browns fans, and you talk to all your Browns fans too, wherever you're at, but the Browns fans that I'm talking to have this sort of same thought about the Browns organization. And one of those things is, especially with Kevin Stefanski and Barry and this owner and everybody else, that they always think that they're one step ahead of everybody else, or they have this belief system that they kind of throw that idea out, this image. Like even in the press conference, Barry wouldn't want to disclose certain things, but he would disclose other things. It's just, I think a lot of fans just think it's too cute. We're not winning as an organization, and we're just tired. We feel like I saw somebody posted a GFI thing on the X this afternoon about showing Forrest Gump, after his long run with his beard and everything, standing there on the deserted highway, and how us Browns fans feel when, the Browns organization says, well, just hold on for the ride. You're going to love this. You're going to love the process. I know that's not exactly how, Steve, you said he meant it, or it came out, but
he said he wants fans to enjoy the process. He was acknowledging that so far the process wasn't working.
Right. And I know
That's
it's his
an awful
job
lot for a GM to admit.
Sure.
And I GMs never admit when they're wrong. If you admit you're wrong when you're GM, you're no longer a GM.
I think we're just all tired as fans going through this process.
I'm not tired as fans. I see a very talented team that if past teams had started the season with this many turnovers, they'd be 0-4.
But this team
it's a credit to the talent. Yeah, they're 2-2.
But the talent can only get you so far. And right now we're 2-2. We're not 4-0. We're 2-2. And I hear you on that. But I'm sorry. There's a lot of fans that still say that we're the same old Browns.
They're not the same old Browns. They've got a bye week.
But we hear that. I hear
it. To do what Elliot and I are talking about, they need to make some adjustments. Kevin Stefanski has proven that he adjusts to his quarterback. He adjusts from Baker Mayfield to Jacoby Brissett. So, and from Kirk Cousins to Baker Mayfield.
So
they're not the same players.
But why couldn't he do the same thing with DTR the other day? What was it because he only had
DTR is a rookie in his first game,
and he's a fifth-round draft pick.
Yeah,
okay, he's not. So
then why do you pass the ball 7 times in the first 10 set plays still? Why don't you mix it up a little bit?
That's a good question.
He doesn't have Nick Chubb. I thought that was a good idea. That's exactly what he should have done.
It's about execution.
I think it was a good move, and give Baltimore some credit. They do have a good defense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Their offensive scheme, I'm still not impressed with, but they've got good personnel on defense. They played really great, and I think the rookie was nervous and didn't execute.
You know why they play great? Because Jim Harbaugh lets Lamar Jackson be Lamar Jackson.
Well, I don't even think they played great on offense. If you look at Baltimore's stats, they were, not good enough to win most games, but because Cleveland's offense was so bad, I think Cleveland's offense
was 10 yards. Yeah, that first
Cleveland's offense lost the game. I don't think Baltimore's defense won it. I don't think that Baltimore's offense won it. I think that Cleveland's offense was spectacularly bad. I don't think that reflects poorly on Deshaun Watson because DTR had a bad game. I think DTR will improve if he has to play again. He'll be better. But rookie quarterbacks stink. I've told people this many times. They just don't play well, especially their day 3 draft picks. But we didn't have a first-round draft pick. I think he was a 4th-round guy, wasn't he?
5th-round
pick.
C.J. Stroud was the number 2 pick in the draft.
Yeah, we didn't have that. That's not who
DTR was a 5th-round draft pick.
Was he 5th round or 4th round? But anyway,
5th round.
It's 5th.
5th round. 5th round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well, guys,
that's not who we're getting. That's not who we had. We didn't have 2nd overall pick.
Right.
Elliot?
Correct.
Steve, final thoughts before we let everybody go tonight. It's been a great show. A lot of hot opinions tonight on our Fanatical Elfz show. We love the fact that you tune in every week, listen to us, read our stuff, follow us on Apple, on Spotify. We just love. Again, our downloads are just quadrupling every month. And hey, we actually got some money. We got paid, folks. So thank you very much.
Yes, we did.
I think we're all able to go out and get a Happy Meal. So thanks so much for that. Really enjoyed
doing that with pennies.
Final thoughts before we let everybody go. Steve, what final takes tonight?
I still think, a lot of people are saying, well, now that they're they've lost to Pittsburgh and Baltimore, they're 1-2 in the AFC North. Did anybody watch Cincinnati and Pittsburgh this last weekend? Those are 2 dumpster fires.
Yes.
And like Elliot, I am not completely sold on Baltimore. Mm-hmm. So if they tweak some things in the bye, get back on track, they all know they played bad. The defense knows it, the offense knows it, special teams know it. Mm-hmm. So let's refocus, go back to 1 game at a time, and anything is possible in the future. And like I said, I usually wait till after week 6 before I evaluate a team. And so I'm going to wait till after the San Francisco game. Let's see what happens.
Well, good takes. Thank you, bud. Elliot.
Yeah, I want to say, even though we had a terrible game from the offense, once again, the Browns have a premier defense. I'm utterly convinced of that. I think that the quarterback position will improve if DTR has to be the quarterback. I am concerned about Deshaun Watson, but I believe that there's still a very good chance that the guy that we saw against Tennessee will, in fact, be the guy that shows up against San Francisco. Let's give him a chance. And I think there could be an upset in the making. I think there's every possibility that the Browns will be very competitive against San Francisco. Let's wait and see how that goes. I think that there's a really good chance that the Browns are going to surprise people. I don't know if we're going to win outright, but I think that it could be a really exciting game. Well, let's just wait and see what happens, and let's not go crazy because a rookie quarterback had a bad game. A rookie 5th-round draft pick had a bad game in his first NFL start, and we want to bail on the team. I don't know that I want to go there. I just don't see the logic of that. I do think that the coach really didn't speak well for his first-string quarterback. Maybe there's something there, maybe not. But in any case, if there is something there, the coach still shouldn't have said it to the press. And, we're well justified to question what's going on. John's article, I think, spoke very well to that point. We're going to continue to follow that, and we're going to continue to question. We're going to grill Stefanski on that point, and just see if Watson really is the real deal or whether something weird is happening there. I think we have to ask that question and see how the season progresses. I don't think Stefanski's job is safe. I think Watson's job is much safer than Stefanski's. We'll just see how the season progresses.
Well, thank you. Very good. I appreciate you both coming on tonight. We're going to have more diagrams and whatnot in next week's Fanatical Elfz show. We will have another giveaway. I know I keep saying that, but we will post a new giveaway. We'll have the announcement of that giveaway at next week's Thursday show. So thank you again for that. We'll be doing some Browns follow trains as well. We've been getting a lot of you to subscribe and follow us on the X that way. So we really appreciate it. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great night. Go Browns. It's the bye week. Enjoy all the other football teams out there. Enjoy college games on Saturday as well. I heard Baker Mayfield is going to be at College Game Day down there in the big Texas Oklahoma
Red River Shootout. Yeah.
There you go. All right, folks, take care, and we'll talk to you next time. Go Browns. Go Browns.
We ain't nearly dead yet.